Flosstube, I hope all's well. My name is Kirsty, Crafting Kirsty here on YouTube and on Instagram. It is Monday the 23rd of December 2024, 2 days till Christmas. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all as organised and prepared as you need to be. I think I am. Most of the food's in. I've still got a few presents left to wrap. The decorations are done. I hate decorating, but they're now done apart from sort of the main table. I've got this little train here, which is a bit of a sort of automatic snow globe thing. But I've had to turn him off because whilst he looks very pretty, he is quite noisy. And this year, there's always one decoration that you put up every year and it never quite stays where it's put. And this year, it's these lights around the dresser. I've never actually put lights on here before. Every time I walk in, another bit has dropped down or fallen off. It's just not working. But anyway, so if they suddenly disappear behind me, that's why. So yeah, I think I'm fairly organised. I'm already watching the minimalist how to clear your clutter videos on YouTube and the healthy lentil soup and salad videos on YouTube, because that feeling's coming back again. And much as I love Christmas, there just seems to be so much stuff. And yeah, that's just not, it doesn't live anywhere. So you get to the point where you just think, oh, I just want to get rid of it all, sort the house back to normal. Yeah, we haven't even had Christmas yet this year. You can tell I'm getting old. Right, so on to stitching. I haven't done any. In the 6 weeks since I last filmed. I haven't done any stitching. But I have done some finishing. So I will show you my finishes. And despite not having done any stitching in the last 6 weeks, I have 4 huge starts planned for next year, with a possible 2 more. I just haven't bought charts yet. So I thought we'd talk about that. Right, so my first finish to show you today is this one. So this is Christmas pudding. It is from Emma Congdon, who is Stitch Rovia on Etsy. This is still available in her Etsy shop. I stitched this and finished it, I think, before last Christmas. I just didn't get round to fully finishing it. So this was stitched on an Ada of some sort, called for DMCs. There's an awful lot of back stitch in it, which I don't mind. I have to be in the mood for back stitch. But if I am, I'm quite happy to do it. It's just backed very simply with this little sort of hair, Christmas stockings, Christmas presents backing. And I've just done the usual. I've put it onto 2 bits of board, glued the fabric onto the board on the inside, and then stitched it very roughly together around the edges. There's a bit of wadding underneath this as well, just to give it a bit of oomph. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with that. It sits on this easel, and at the moment it's on my kitchen windowsill, which is decorated. Can you see that there? Yeah. Which is decorated. It's got a bit of greenery and whatnot in it. Yeah, and it looks really, really good. Love it. So I'm very pleased with that. So that was Christmas Pudding, Emma Congdon, who is Stitch Rovia on Etsy. The next lot I finished. So I finished one of these, I think, last year. I'd finished the Snow Village. So these are the pieces from Little House Needleworks. They were the monthly, what are they called when you get a pattern monthly? No, it's gone. I know it's a block of the month for quilting. What is it for cross stitch? No, anyway, it's gone. So this was the first one that I finished last year, fully finished last year. So all of these I was stitching throughout the lockdown with COVID. Well, during COVID. I didn't have it, just stitched it during COVID. So very, very simple. That one's got ducks with hats and belts on for some reason. Yeah, so I've just put that on the back. So these will just hang somewhere on the wall. They're not perfect finishes. I don't care. They're quite big pieces. I spent a lot of time wondering how I wanted to get these finished, because to frame them, they're quite large, but they're only really going to be up for a month, 6 weeks total. And then you'd have to store them. Cushions, we don't really do cushions in this house. So this seemed like the most obvious answer, just to hang them off of something. And these hangers, I bought these, I think, from Lovecraft or Lovecrafts or whatever it's called, I think, or I might have bought it at a quilt show. I can't remember, but they're just, and these just pull apart at the end like that. It's supposed to only pull one side out, but it's very easy. So there we go. So that was the Snow Village, which you have already seen as a finished object. So then the next two I had left to finish was the Farmhouse Christmas. Again, Little House Needleworks. Just literally turned into a bag inside out. Put the holder on it, and this has got a fox and poinsettias on the back. Well, a fox and a Christmas hat. Looking very dapper. So again, I think I might have dyed this fabric. I think this could be a Linda, is it Linda 27 count? It's either a 25 or a 27 count. I overdyed the fabric. It's not a colour I would use now, but I stitched it all on it, and I got my monthly instalments from the Patchwork Rabbit, and they came with the overdyed, and it's the first time I'd used overdyes, and it's put me off for life, to be quite honest with you. Maybe because, right, so if we look at the horse in the second one, can you see he's obviously been through a river up to his shoulders and all of his colour has faded out. I'm just not very good at either going around, I just don't think about it enough. So I just end up with very distinct lines where my overdyed threads just, yeah, change. So yeah, so that's that second one finished. And I think this was stitched 1/1 from the look of it, which again, actually it doesn't look too bad in the screen. So that was the second one. So I've just finished that one now, fully finished it now. And then the last one I had to fully finish within this sort of set was the Jack Frost Tree Farm. And again, just on these simple hangers. The backing of this is what looks like a stoat or a weasel, antlers and Christmas lights. And I think that is ironed. It doesn't look like it, but it is ironed. I think the backing fabrics are all ones that I got given last year at Christmas. It's a Hobbycraft sort of pack of quilting, you know, fat quarters or what have you. And I thought, well, they just suit the backs of these absolutely fine. So again, this will be, I think, probably 25 count or 27 count. It looks like it is, oh, this could be 2/2 here. Yeah, all the called for, again, overdyed. I can't see any major traumas in this one. But overdyed threads. So there we go, they are finally finished and they will now be hung up as part of the decorations. I really like them now I've actually fully finished them. Having stitched them, they sat in the box for a long time with just because I didn't know what to do with them. But yeah, I'm really happy now with these. So that's those two finishes for this year. And then the final item I fully finished the stitching section of it, but I am going to turn it into a garland, and I want to add some, well, I think I'm going to turn it into a garland, and I'd like to add some extra bits, and they're not done. So whilst the stitching is finished, this won't be displayed until next Christmas, if it's even displayed then. And this is the Merry Christmas pattern from Our Forest Embroidery. So let me start with a Merry. At the moment I've just literally got it on a bit of bamboo cane. So I'm hoping you can see that all right. So these have all basically finished up about 4.5 inches. And again, I spent a long time, I literally was finishing these yesterday. Again, I spent a long time wondering how I was going to finish these. And even as I started finishing them, I then changed my mind. So on the back of these, I've got this lovely fabric. Oh, for goodness sake, threads everywhere, excuse me. And they're all finished in the same fabric. And again, I've just used cereal boxes, actually. I've just cut out circles on cereal boxes. The front has got a bit of wadding underneath it. The backing hasn't. Again, it was glued and ironed onto the backs, put together, and then just whip stitched together. I don't know if you can see. Sort of, there. So that's the Merry. I think a lot of people finish these in hoops, and I think when the pattern came out, the pattern literally went on the fire. I did not, it was the fabric I struggled with, not the pattern, but just the fabric I struggled, and it did seem to go on forever, and I did moan about it quite a lot, and once I'd finished it, the pattern went on the fire. But I think on the front of the pattern, they had these arranged on a wreath in hoops, and I just thought, my wreath is always going to be wonky at some point. And I have seen other people have finished it. Is it Beck's Counting Stars on Instagram? I think she's just recently finished it, and she's finished it in hoops, and it looks absolutely lovely, but I don't know. So I'm going to do it like this, and then somehow add a few other little bits. I did think, you know, you can get those sort of garlands with all the cloves and the dried oranges and things on. I did think I might try and, because you can buy bags of it, try and mix that in with it somehow. Ooh, about to lose the S. And then here we have the Christmas. Yeah, I've spelt it right. Just checking. So I'll start here. So they've got some really sweet little designs on them. Some of them, the stitching did get a little bit lost just on the very edges, but I think the majority of it stayed within the circle, so that was fine. And again, now these are finished, even I know it's not fully finished, but now these are finished. Very happy with it. And yes, more sort of more inclined to get on with completing, fully finishing it in some way or another. Having said that, this will obviously just go into the box until a week before Christmas next year, when I'll drag it out thinking, oh God, I should have been doing something with that. What am I going to do with it now? So yeah, so those are my finishes. Not an insignificant number, I think, when you do all of these individually. It took quite a while, although it's quite easy. Once I got the template sorted and worked out in my head how I was going to do it, because at one point, I'm a bit cross with myself actually, because I really like this fabric on the back. And I did think I was just going to do one big banner of this fabric and then sort of almost applique these onto the front of it. And then I thought it's going to be absolutely huge, and it's going to be quite difficult to hang, blah, blah, blah. And in some ways, I wish I hadn't used this fabric on the back, because I don't know why, or maybe I went to bed thinking that's what I'd do, and then I woke up and thought, no, I'm not happy with that. Just cut them out and do them as you're originally going to do them. And I cut this fabric out for them, and then afterwards sort of thought, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I'd just used some crappier, older fabric, because I really do like this fabric. But anyway, there we go. Such is life, that is how it is now. Yeah, I'm not very good with finishing. I always tend to rush it in the last minute, and then sort of always wish I'd done something slightly different. But anyway, maybe that could be a New Year resolution, to plan my finishing. I wonder if that's going to work or not. Okay, so those are all the finishes that I have done recently. That's in the last week, when I realised I was going to have nothing to talk about on this Flosstube. So for somebody who, as I said, hasn't stitched a thing in the last 6 weeks, not for any reason, not because I didn't want to, but I was just getting really involved in my knitting and my quilting. As I said, I've got quite a number of starts planned. The majority of these I'm going to blame on Janet Dodd, who has a significant birthday coming up next year and has planned 6 big starts, of which I'm joining in definitely with 1, 2, 3, definitely with 3, and there's possibly another 2 that I might join in. So anyway, I'll talk about those first. So January the 1st, we are kicking off with, and this actually isn't one of Janet's initial planned pieces. This was a piece that I saw on Stitching with Reese and then convinced Janet and Elaine of Ellie Welly Stitcher at the Essex Needles Retreat to start with me, and then I saw that Sian Periwinkle Stitcher had this in her to start box, and I said, well, wait and start it with us on January the 1st if you'd like. Anyway, it is Mani Dodonna Eunice Tankerel sampler. So as I said, I saw this on Stitching with Reese, who, dropped an absolute banger of a Flosstube, nearly a year ago, and hasn't been seen again since. But this was one of the pieces, absolutely loved it. It's not the best of photos. The colours on her fabric were just fantastic. It calls for DMC. The original fabric is 32 count cocoa by Weeks Dye Works. I haven't got that. Whether I over dye some fabric I have got, or whether I just use something else, I don't know. I'm only starting it in a week's time. You thought I would have got a bit organised by now. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to starting that with Janet, Elaine and Sian, 1st of January. And then we have no hashtag, we're just starting it. I might think of a hashtag, somebody might think of a hashtag, and we'll mention it in one of the Flosstubes at some point. But yes, if you'd like to join us on that, please do so. Please do. Now then, Janet's first start is going to be the 7 Sheep sampler on the 4th of January. And I was fairly convinced I was going to start this with her. I don't appear to have the pattern, but I'm convinced I bought it. But I don't appear to have it. And I've just quickly looked it up, and of course it's out of stock everywhere. So I'm hoping it's going to come back in stock. I've got to do a thread order probably with Arts and Designs, and hopefully the 7 Sheep sampler will be back in time for me to start it on the 4th of January. So if it does come back, I will start that. And then we fast forward to March 21st, and we are starting the Portuguese bird sampler from Barbara Anna Designs. I have loved this chart for years. So I first saw this chart at the very first Essex Needles retreat I went to. I only went for the day, and I'd been saved space on the table, and there was a lady and her granddaughter sitting opposite. And was it Lucy and I think her granddaughter's Emma, I think. Or maybe Emma's the grandmother and Lucy was the granddaughter. I can't remember, I'm sorry. Anyway, the granddaughter was stitching this just on a very, very, antique white or off-white, plain as piece of fabric. And it was stunning. So I went home and immediately bought it, and surprise, surprise, haven't started it yet. I'm always quite convinced the bird is being very rude on the branch. But there we go, maybe that's just my immature brain seeing that. But yes, I will be starting this on March 21st. Now, not sure that that's not the Essex Needles Retreat weekend. I think Janet might have planned it that we started on the Essex Needles Retreat weekend. Or maybe we've started it before. But anyway, March 21st, that will be started. And again, I think this is in all called for DMC, excellent. And it's just stitched on a 40 count white linen. Mine won't be 40, it'll probably be 36. And I will be doing the white linen because it just, it's stunning. Colours on it are absolutely stunning. We then fast forward to July the 5th. Janet plans on starting a Saviour's Praise from Kitten Stitcher, which is one of those pieces I've seen so many people stitch it, and I absolutely love it, but I've never quite pulled the trigger on it. Haven't decided yet. It's near enough to my birthday that I could sort of start it with her and count it as one of my birthday starts. I probably will do because I think it's a bit of a classic, really, or a modern day classic. So yeah, so I haven't got that one yet. I will probably end up getting it and starting it as well. And then in September, I think for the Essex Needles retreat in September, which I won't be attending, Janet is planning on starting the Virginia sampler, a Cumberland County inspiration by Teresa M. Bard. Heart's Ease Example Works. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, I'm sure you've got something quite similar to that, and I have. I've got Antrim's Folly, which I've made very little progress on, but I do like it, and I will stitch some more on it. And this will be its companion piece. And I think I probably will do it on as big a piece of it. That's half of why I haven't worked on Antrim's Folly for quite a while, is it's on a 25, I think I've done it on 25 count, or maybe 27, because it is a big piece, and I would just like to be able to stitch it easily. But it is going to be a big, big piece when it's finished. And I do, part of me sort of thinks, well, I should put this on the same size, but then part of me thinks, I'm not sure I've got enough windows for all these essentially curtains that I'm going to be stitching. Oh, I love this. Look at the border. Look at all the variety in the border. And the beehive. I've never stitched a beehive to date. So quite excited to start that. So yes, I will be starting that. This is charted in NPIs and DMCs. Oh, and classic Colourworks. I will be using the DMCs. It's 441 wide by 535 high. So just a small. 40 count, it will come out at 22 by 26 3/4. 36, it will be 24.5 by 29 3/4. 25 count, it will just be massive. So that's the September start. And then I think that is the end of my starts with Janet. I know that she has A Father Kind and True, and there's another one that she's starting as well, and I'm not going to start those two. However, when we were away for the weekend in Wales, I was chatting away to Adele and Penny, and we were discussing this ATS 1871 sampler from Saxony from GGR. So I bought this a little while ago, absolutely love it. And we were all discussing the fact that we had it and we liked it and we should start it. So Adele, Smurfette Stitches, and Penny, who is Penelope_pins on Instagram. And I will be starting this on October the 18th, and we chose that random date because that's actually Penny's birthday, so it just seemed to coincide. We said, right, we'll start it on that day. So yeah, so this is, I didn't take the correct piece of paper out for this. I will be doing this as per usual. Sorry for the crinkling, in DMC, because I'm a DMC girl. Cheap and cheerful, that's me. Oh look, we've got lots of charting for all the funny stitches. Gentle Art Sampler Threads and Simply Shaker. Never even heard of those. I will, oh, do they even have a DMC conversion? Oh no, beginning to panic. I don't think they do. Oh well, something will be done about that. Oh, well, there we go. I might not be doing it in DMC, but I will be trying my hardest to if I can. But yeah, so anyway, sorry. Now, oh, what's her name? No, it's gone completely. She started doing Flosstubes and then she stopped, and then she started, well, she had a hiatus, and then she came back, and she now does a lot where she interviews people as well. Oh, she's finished lots of big samplers. No, it's gone completely. Can't remember her name. I have seen this finished. It's absolutely lovely. It's not in my notes. I'm not going to remember it once the camera is turned on, I'm afraid. So there we go. So that is I'm not going to say my final big start of the year, but that is my final, so far planned, big start of the year. So that's it. If you've stayed this long, then thank you very much. Wish you all a very happy Christmas, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yeah, basically have a good one. I will be back at the beginning of January. I haven't actually looked ahead to what date it will be, with a quilting Flosstube. And then by the time I come back with this, I should have 2 big starts, and I might have had a small finish. You never know. Okay, take care and have a lovely time over the next couple of weeks. Bye.